Hi, welcome to my developer walkthrough. This is my game called Robot Ball Arena. Interesting name, I know. So I'm going to start off this walkthrough by playing a quick game, and then I'll go through the different scripts, materials, even fonts that I've got. So let's go. I won't talk through the gameplay because there's some music in it. It's quite loud, and I'm quite quiet. So see you when I've finished. Okay, so going through that, what you saw was this game here. The aim of the game, as you saw in the instructions, is to grab the balls on your opponent's side of the field. It does this by interpolating the player's hands and detecting if it hits them. If it does, it teleports them over to this side of the field. Now if I look at my script, we'll start off with the player movement. It's pretty simple, using a rigid body and sending a vector 3 through it to push it in one transform, or along one transform, by adding a force vector. And I literally just have two of these with different axes, as you can see, vertical 2 on the get axis and vertical, just to allow me to have different controls for the two players. Next we have the detection field. Now this is the two orange panels. What this does is it, as you can read, it does hit detection. Basically it waits to see if 6 balls, all it does is it detects how many collisions it has. Now the robots can only move on this axis. I don't know if you can see that very well, but they can only move up and down, or side to side from their perspective. So they will never touch the orange field, or, yeah, they'll never touch the detection field. So if there is 6 collision detections, then there are all 6 balls on one side of the field and the game is over. All it does is, it calls the game manager and says, look, game is over. So speaking of the game manager, the game manager controls the time remaining, controls music levels. As you saw earlier, you can change music according to a setting, which does affect the music volume that it runs through here. Game float, float game timer, text time remaining, that ticks down this. And then you've got the left ball pit and right ball pit. Now let's see if I scroll down a little bit. The game over script basically just decides who won. If player 1 won, then it loads level 5, which is the player 1 wins screen. Scene to load is 2, etc, etc. Does that by detecting the left field and right field and getting the collision numbers. Whoever has the most balls at the end of the time remaining wins. Period. If you only have 4 balls to their 2, you win, even though you didn't collect all 6 balls, because it checks for the highest level of collision numbers in the who won method, which is then relayed through the game over script. Int scene to load who won. There we go. interpolating. It's pretty simple. I'm actually going to open this because this is one of the more complicated scripts. I say it's pretty simple, but it is, well, for me it's rather complicated. Just check that OBS is detecting it. Yep, that's fine. These are all for a very different game. Okay, so the interpolation, you've got the serialized value to interpolate, which is value interpolate, time to interpolate, the transform, a timer, you get the transform component, timer ticks down. If basically the timer prevents you from abusing it, really. So you cannot just keep spamming and spamming and spamming. You get 3.5 second cooldown between chances to grab the balls. This is just saying if key down and timer is less than 0, start the coroutine, start interp, which is this. Now the coroutine, what it does is it just pushes the while value interpolate is less than or equal to 1, time to finish move plus time delta time, value interpolate equals time to finish move divided by time to interpolate. Time to finish move was a float that we enacted here. And then the position is equal to lerping, start position, end position, and the value interpolate. And then I've just got a simple return that the exact opposite to return the hands back to the player. So what it does is it says, okay, this is your start position, this is your end position, this is how long it's going to take to get there, and then it slowly moves down because time to finish move divided by time to interpolate. It's a pretty simple script, but it has some more complicated parts to it than I'm used to, which I found quite a nice challenge. Here, the movement ball I've opened for a good reason, and that's because the ball of movement is just got the little components, the rigid body, transform, spherical hider, and the audio source for the little bing sound you get if you connect with the hands. What it does is, first of all, when they spawn, they turn using the random angle int, randomly generated, and the Euler angles new vector 3. So it starts pointing in a completely random direction, and then adds a force to push the balls forward, but it sends a minute raycast, very, very tiny, just ahead of the ball. If the raycast hits an object, then it uses vector3.reflect to find out the normal that we need to rebound it off. So basically what it does is it detects the angle that, okay, we're coming in. Now, I can show this best in the game. So it says, okay, we're going to hit this wall. What is the angle we are going to hit the wall at? What angle should we reflect at, judging by that angle? Using a rotation and then the Euler angles to add a new vector 3, bouncing it off. Personally, I'm very happy with this system, just the way it's worked out. I know it seems quite a small system, but it took me quite a while to get it perfect. And it really does add a lot of realism to the ball movement, and it makes it feel like pinball-y, which is perfect, which is what the whole thing I was aiming for. I was aiming for pinball, arcade, fast-paced fun. And then you just have a quick on-collision enter that detects if a hand grabs you and then teleports you to the opposite place. And plays a little reward sound. After that, you have Move On, which is just a little script for when you win, you automatically return to the main menu. This just is a little timer script to do that. On click, obviously, is tags for the different application levels to load. Options. You have a static float, master volume, full screen toggling with a ball. And these are all affected in the settings screen with a volume slider for the volume and a full screen option. Okay, now if I look at, this is a font I downloaded off the internet for use in the top, as you can see. I actually need to extend that. Seems to have gotten bigger for some reason. Fixing bugs on camera. I'll fix it off camera. Yeah, it looks kind of robotic in my mind, so I'm very happy with that. We have some images. It was free, royalty free. So we have these images that I use for the background, for the different menus. Then we have materials. So we have the physics material for the balls to help them bounce, and then we have just the different colours, along with different, metallic grates, smoothness, that kind of thing. We have the models, the different robot models, the robot hands, and then the materials for those models. The prefabs for the arena. And the sounds. That's about it. Hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough, my development diary, you could call it. Thanks.